And sort of looking at the landscape of the wrestling world overall, there was a thought of places that we could amplify sort of what they do. One of the first and foremost markets that we thought of was Mexico. How can we help to grow what they do? How can we help to add to it? Yeah, you got good stuff to it. So, yes, here I am again.
Aw, it was nice to do it with you guys.
Right now, with the two guys I respected the most in my generation, getting to do this right now is it's an incredible feeling. And as if this wasn't big enough, having that opportunity, I can't even describe it.
I think we're good. Yeah, we worked on it late last night.
So if you know, Undertaker runs the show for AAA.
If you'd have told me, 20 years ago that one of the big sort of driving forces behind AAA in Mexico would be the Undertaker, it would have been hard for me to sort of wrap my head around that.
So let me ask you something. Where were you when AAA was the heart of Lucha Libre, along with CMLL? Both of them were the heart of Lucha Libre. Let me not get the marks riled up. Where were you when Triplemania was, for the most part in Mexico, a nationwide event? They had the flags, as you see, the masks, the whole country watching one ring in Mexico City. Did you participate? Did you order, or were you able to order the pay-per-view? Were you able to stay to watch the main event? It could be true, but not for most. For most, people were watching Raw or SmackDown, or they were buying WWE 2K. You were waiting for John Cena to retire, while Mexico City carried Lucha Libre, for almost 33 years. What I will give you credit for is now with TKO buying out, for the most part, the majority for AAA, and now they have the WWE logo slapped on it, we are now able to enjoy the product much easier. But now, because of it, they're moving into a 2-night Triplemania in 2026 with potential rumors that Triplemania might be moving to 2 nights, one on September 11th and one on September 13th in Mexico City. But we're going to go a little bit more into it and discuss it. So welcome to the Tea Drop, Strong Brew, No Soft Behavior. Today's drop is Triplemania 34, and how, for the most part, the internet, there's a whole controversy or people upset on the fact that it was 2 nights. And then the 3 things TKO might be hoping that you don't put together. So let's get into this drop. Now, when it comes to the new announcement of Triplemania, a few things can be, if this loads, 2 things can be correct. What I mean about that is, one, Triplemania 34 is officially, obviously, a 2-night event for the first time, with September 11th, Friday, being night 1 and September 13th being the second one. Now, 2, night 2 is located in Mexico City. Night 1, though, location is not officially announced. And per Wrestle Votes or on Fightful Select, they are thinking that there's heavily internal discussion that night 2 could be hosted in the United States. Now, the reason, we're also going to talk about the reason why there might be a delay on the announcement. It could be that they're working through visa. Who knows? They're trying to figure out all the logistics internally before they can announce that location. We are dealing with an interesting time in the world where these things need to be fully figured out before anything goes forward. Now, another thing we're going to talk about is The Undertaker being on AAA's creative team and how this whole thing was announced in Backlash. So let's go through the first thing, and which is the whole thing about AAA and its cultural aspect. Triplemania is not just a wrestling show. Triplemania is a Mexican institution along with CMLL. AAA alone has 32 editions of Triplemania. Hugo Sanchez throwing the first pitch of the first idea out there, which included people such as Mil Máscaras, Conan, Vampiro, La Parca, all of these people, the mask versus mask matches, things that ended careers and started high level caliber talent. So why do we need night 1 to be in the United States. How does that make sense? Well, we have to think about why would it make sense. And that's because TKO. Now, TKO, as far as we all know, it's all about revenue. 2 nights equals double the gate, double the sponsorships, double the profit, double the AAA viewership out there in the streaming world. How it's going to be streamed, we don't know. Usually AAA is done through, in the US is done through YouTube, but it may be different given that it's Triplemania. Maybe they're going to do it through ESPN. We don't know that yet, but it's going to be more eyes watching. Now, they're trying to run the same template as WrestleMania, even the same template that got ran last year with SummerSlam, and it's going to be continuing right now. The same template is now officially confirmed for Triplemania. Now, that is what we know so far. That's it. The crown jewel of Lucha Libre gets cut in half or doubled based on how you see it. And one half, as far as we know, based on the rumors, is getting shipped to North America. So we will see how that goes. But, and this is the big but, here's what they're not telling you. Not yet, at least. Once night one, if it lives in the US, I don't think it's coming back. If they make night one for the first time in the US, they're going to keep it there. They're going to say, well, it worked, so we're going to keep doing it. It will never go back to Mexico. You'll never see a 2-night in Mexico. It's just going to be the norm. So one person and many, nope, that's me.
Okay, let's talk about Triplemania 34.
This man right here, shout out to PopoMX. He, according to him, and so it's based on his statement, he was able to connect with someone within AAA and confirm potentially what the location might be if done in the US. So let's take a look.
This weekend, WWE announced, I don't know if at Backlash or on the Querétaro episode of AAA, the long-awaited date for Triplemania 34. And not only the date, but also the historic news that it will be divided into 2 nights. The first night will be Friday, September 11, and the second will be Sunday, September 13. Night 2 will be at the Arena Ciudad de Mexico as usual, while Night 1 is still unknown and will be announced later. Well, with this, people began to speculate. For example, the first theory was the 2.
Now, the reason why his lips is probably not moving, this is probably originally in Spanish and it got translated. So if you see the words not matching the lips, that's why.
WWE's Latin American tour will be on those dates on September 11th, will be in Argentina. In other words, that day, the WWE live show in Argentina, there were people who said that Triplemania was going to be in Argentina or that they were going to take away WWE wrestlers to have them in Triplemania on that exact date. Well, look, first of all, Triplemania is not going to be in Argentina or Chile, which is the day after, right? That's for sure. No. In fact, I have information from a source close to AAA who told me where night 1 of Triplemania was going to be. So, if it is there and it is confirmed, they are going to say that they heard it here first on PopoMX, and they are going to say, no, but I already saw that the Planchita said it. Well, I published a story on Saturday on Instagram, and I told them that I already knew there. But, well, if it doesn't happen there, then don't say anything, right? Don't say anything there. You never saw anything. Well, supposedly night 1 is going to be in Las Vegas.
There you go. So, according to him, he is saying that Triplemania might be night 1 will be in Vegas. Holy damn. I really hopefully not. And yes, Chef Maku, I really hope if they do 2 nights, it means more luchadors and luchadoras getting a chance in Triplemania. But if you heard some of the video or some of the stories, is that they're saying that WWE personnel wants to get the opportunity to work there as well. Which workers, I don't know. We'll find out.
All in the same arena where World Cup Road was held in 2025 now, with the other issue that they are going to take WWE wrestlers to Triplemania, and that is why they are not going to be on the Latin American tour on those dates. Well, yes, that is going to happen. I mean, they are not going.
Anyway, he goes in more detail about it, but that's the gist of it. The fact that it's going to be potentially in Las Vegas. Now, that may not be true. Who knows where he's got. He's saying he got it from a source in AAA that he knows. Maybe we take it with a grain of salt. But the rumors keep circling that it's still going to be night 1 in the US, which makes sense if you think about it, given that there's a day gap, the day gap being for travel. We talked about this in the previous video that I did on Triplemania, that was the case. Now, let's talk about the date itself, because although I don't personally think it's a big issue given that Triplemania is a Mexican show, some people they debated on Reddit on the fact that September the night one is on September 11th. And for most people in America, and when I mean America, specifically the United States, September 11 is the day of the incident of the terrorist attack back in 2001. So it is a day of reflection, is a day of remembrance for many. A lot of people in New York here remember that day. They grieve, they pay their respects, and so forth. Ironically, unfortunately, night one is on the same day. So some people have been upset about it, so forth, but maybe they misunderstood. Sorry, not the people, but maybe WWE didn't think about that at all. But at this point, they already announced the date, so it's kind of too late. I think tickets are going to be on sale in a few days for Triplemania. I think on the 19th, they're going on sale, so it's kind of too late. They already probably booked the dates. It's weird that they're selling this and they're still not announcing night one, but hey, maybe they'll announce it right before sales. Knowing WWE, they tend to do that. They announce it right at the last minute. But anyway, that was another thing that people got upset about. And some people got bothered at the fact that it was on night. But the way I see it, and it's nothing, and I hope people don't take it, because some people get too emotional about it at times. I see if, say, WWE did a 2-night typical event, like a pay-per-view on that week, then it will be different. Triplemania is a AAA Mexican promotion. Also, let's not forget, during these incidents, although SmackDown the week of 2001, when 9/11 happened, no show was there. SmackDown did pay its respects. It could be a night that they continue paying the respects to those that have fallen. So it could be something like that. But let's not forget Triplemania. It's a Mexico promotion. I don't know. They have to figure it out, not me. That's for them to figure out. They set themselves on those dates. Maybe they should have done it a week later. Who knows? But let's continue. Let's go to another item, which is how they're going to do booking. And do I have yeah. One of the biggest things is what they're doing with all the talent. Are the Grande Americanos going to be part of the storyline, or just one of them? We'll find out who's getting unmasked. Chances is Chad Gable or the original Grande Americano, depending on who knows what, you know. He's probably not going to be Grande anymore, and I'm sure Grande Americano is going to be part of the show. But the hopes, just the same way with Chef Maku, is that I really hope they add more of the luchador talent in these 2 nights of shows. But it's really hard for me to decipher how they can make 2 nights work, given that currently AAA does 1-hour weekly taped shows. All their shows are not live, except the live events, like the PLE quote-unquote events. All the shows are usually pre-recorded ahead of time, and they're only 1-hour shows. So how can you build 2 days worth of storyline through a 1-hour show? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's a tall order to do. If anyone can do it or figure it out, is WWE. Who knows? Maybe it's just a 2-hour strict Triplemania show, 4 matches each night. It'll be a short show. Who knows? They're gonna probably let us know before the show begins. But anyway, I think when it comes to that, depending on the booking, to me, when it comes to the Undertaker booking, Undertaker's been doing okay. I've been enjoying AAA, in my personal opinion. It's been an easy watch, 1 hour, very easy to digest. It comes on tonight, guys, at 9:30, 9 o'clock, around there on YouTube. Definitely check it out. Worth the watch. Easy digestible product. I think it's going to be a worth show. I just don't know how much they can shove in 2 nights. That is for the Undertaker to decide. He's been doing okay so far. I can't disagree. It's better than most of the regular content WWE has put out when it comes to like Raw or SmackDown, but we will see. But anyway, where I stand on this, WWE is going to try to put some stars. We all know they will. They're going to put stars into the AAA Triplemania product. They did last year. They had Finn Balor in there with the Demonito against Mr. Iguana. They had that moment. So if people receptive to that, they're going to add more people because people cheered for that. So they're going to keep going. So don't be surprised if you see WWE bringing stars with The Undertaker on the creative team. It's probably going to be possible. But WWE has the Mexican City Night 2 locked, and WWE still cannot potentially resist to put a heat magnet luchador in front of a North American crowd. They are really trying to make this work. But if you realize when it comes to the luchadors, when you see the luchadors in Raw or SmackDown, the crowd isn't into it. You see it on their shows. You see the Americanos on the show, they do a match. The crowd's not into it. The crowd is very quiet. You see them on AAA, cheered, pop all over. Two different audiences. Can AAA really survive or work in an American crowd? When they had Mr. Iguana show up at the Royal Rumble, barely any pop either. La Parca showed up, barely any pop. I don't think AAA may work with a crowd. If they expect to get a high pop in the crowd, it may not work. I don't know. They're gonna have to combine WWE Stars if they do Night 2 in America. That's the only. It might become their versions of Forbidden Door with AEW. Forbidden Door with talents outside of AEW against AEW talent. They're going to have to do some type of format like that. Maybe Night 1 will be like a Forbidden Door style WWE Stars versus AEW. And maybe Triplemania Night 2 is fully wrestler based. So anyway, I'm excited. I just waiting to see what happens in the story build. It'll be interesting. But anyway, let me know in the comments. Do you think the 2-night format is going to work? Is it even going to be good for AAA's bottom line? Undertaker, as always in creative, might be a win. It is a win so far. But let's see what TKO gives us with the 2 nights. But let me know if you think the 2-night works. Item number 2, if they do a Night 1 in the US, do you think that's going to change how the quality of Triplemania will show based on previous years? Or do you think they're not going to change it? Let me know in the comments about that. As always, if the T hit right, hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.